Anthony from Hasbro said, and we're going to continue reading Transformers the movie in this 35-year-old vintage comic book, or sticker book as it were. And as you see, your lens is red because this book requires a red piece of plastic or something to see the panels. Some are not available because you need the stickers to fill the spaces. You know, it was 35 years ago. I don't think I'm going to find those stickers now. We're going to begin. With most of their ship gone, they must attempt to crash land on a rugged planet of junk. The ship skids over the surface debris, spilling the Autobots out of their seats. Now there's work to be done. Before rebuilding the ship, Daniel takes a moment to learn how to use his dad's old exosuit. Separated from the rest, Hot Rod and Cup are prisoners of the ruthless Quintessons. Another prisoner tells them that Quintessons keep the treacherous Sharkticons to do their dirty work. Before he can say anything more, the guards take him away, but to where? And what is this dirty work? Elsewhere, Unicron summons Galvatron and tells him that he has failed, and that the Autobots have made a fool of him. He orders Galvatron to seek them on the planet of junk and to destroy them. With help from Daniel and the exosuit, the Autobots put the finishing touches on the repairs of the ship. And not a moment too soon, Galvatron's fleet of marauding Decepticons descends upon the Autobots, who have been caught away from the safety of their ship. Dodging the fire, they flee for cover. Is this their darkest hour? Magnus, backed against the wall, calls on the power of the Matrix. Galvatron, demanding the Matrix, warns Magnus that he will destroy him if he does not surrender. Magnus refuses, believing that the Matrix will protect him from the laser rockets. But it doesn't. Ultra Magnus falls dead, and Galvatron takes up the Matrix and vows to use it against Unicron. Hot Rod and Cup are taken to the court of the Quintessons. They stand above a pool churning with Sharkticons. As the guard asks them if they have any last words before the judge passes sentence, what can they say? The court is fixed, and the judges are the heads of death. The bottom drops out and they fall. Underwater, after the restraining bands release them, they transform. Since they have less photon charges than there are Sharkticons, their only chance is a demolition derby to take out as many as they can. Driving to the bottom, they race around the edge, creating a whirlpool and raising the water level, until it's high enough for them to drive out onto dry land. Assuming vehicle form, Hot Rod and Cup ram the Sharkticons, but the Autobots are hopelessly outnumbered by the vicious sea creatures. Sharkticons keep appearing. No matter how many they blast, 10 more appear. Things look bleak until the Dinobots burst through the door, crushing a few of the guards along the way. They take control of the situation, subduing the Sharkticons and destroying the Quintessons. On the planet of junk, the rest of the Autobots have just given up hope. Like Optimus Prime before him, Ultra Magnus is dead. And worse, the Matrix of Light is gone. No leader and no hope, things couldn't get any worse. Or could they? With a sudden furious roar of engines and tailpipes, the landscape shakes beneath the wheelie-poppin', throttle-hoppin' Junkions. The Autobots transform and race once again to their ship. These Junkion critters pop up like crabgrass, blocking escape routes and trapping the Autobots. In the midst of the ruckus, Autobots and Junkions alike drop their guard and watch the strange ship approach. Its pilot and inhabitants are just as confused at the bizarre scene below them. All wait and wonder until out step the lost Autobots. Hot Rod gives the universal greeting to the Junkions, who turn out to be friendly, and pretty handy with a socket wrench as well. After a few hours of work and a couple of quarts of oil, the Junkions bring Ultra Magnus back to life. Things look better for the Autobots now that they have a leader. But Galvatron has the Matrix of Light. Without the Matrix, Autobot civilization is doomed. Wreckar, leader of the Junkions, and the one who knows a good civilization shouldn't go to waste, vows to help the Autobots fight the Decepticons and retrieve the lost Matrix of Light. But what about Unicron? Won't the Autobots have to battle him for the Matrix? Not according to Galvatron, to obey his command or else he will destroy him. But Galvatron underestimates the power of Unicron, who responds by quaking and transforming. Unicron speaks. For the first time I considered sparing your measly little planet, but now you shall witness the magnitude of Unicron and the destruction of Cybertron. Unicron opens to full size and propels himself toward the relatively tiny planet. His giant fist smashes the surface and sends Decepticons scrambling for some safety. But there is none, only destruction. As the Autobots see their homeland crumbling beneath Unicron, they take up their battle stations. All of them hope lies in the help of the Junkions, the Dinobots, and the possibility of finding the Matrix of Light. The Decepticon ships bother Unicron no more than flies on a hot day, and he swats them into oblivion. The Autobots intend on firing into Unicron's eyes when he turns suddenly and spits a burst of fire on them. They crush through his optics and to the inside of the living, deadly planet. Under pressure, the ship shatters and the Autobots fall through the maze of Unicron's guts. Unicron's internal projection system detects the invaders. Once again, the Autobots run for their lives. Hot Rod, separated from the others, walks on as some mysterious and unknown power. The Matrix of Light, and in Galvatron's hands. Hot Rod knows what force brought him here, and he knows his mission. But Galvatron will not enter the Matrix without a fight. If he cannot defeat Unicron, then all shall die. Outside, the battle rages. Unicron wreaks savage destruction, fiercely bombarding his Dinobot opponents with his optic blast. The Dinobots attack from all angles, each his own particular power. All are hoping to locate a weak spot in Unicron's massive armor, but every shot only seems to make the giant planet shudder. Inside another part of Unicron, Daniel is caught and trapped by robotic antibodies. He shouts for help, and the Autobots turn the fire on the hooks. Their barrage of fire cuts Daniel loose. But it also sets open a torrent of flooding water which washes away all of the Autobots. The waters sweep Daniel into and hears the screams of falling bodies. He looks up and sees the aerial conveyor slinging captive Autobots through the air and dropping them into a smoking cauldron that processes them into an energy supply for Unicron. Daniel hears one cry above the rest. He swims onto the shore and pulls himself up, wondering what it could be. Yes, it's his dad, Spike, still alive. But he's almost over the cauldron. There isn't much time. Daniel, still not used to the exosuit, fiddles with some buttons, and at the last moment, his rocket blasts the support arm of the cauldron, and the lid drops. But what happened to his dad? He dropped before the lid completely closed. Did it close enough to catch him from the steamy jaws of hot death? Did Daniel respond quickly enough? Daniel fears the worst. Spike is alive. Daniel saved his dad. Together they stop the conveyor and save the rest of the captives. Hot Rod and Galvatron square off and fight. The Matrix is useless to Galvatron because it won't work for a Decepticon. But Galvatron will not return it to Hot Rod. Galvatron fires. Hot Rod dodges some rockets and takes a shock from the others, but he refuses to quit, even though Galvatron is the stronger of the two. Hot Rod fights valiantly. The future of the Autobots depend upon him. What future remains seems tied up in Galvatron's hands as he squeezes from around Hot Rod's neck. Then, when the last bit of breath seems to gasp from Hot Rod's throat, the matrix around Galvatron's neck gives forth a powerful light and falls to Hot Rod. Inspired, he hurls Galvatron off of him and scoops up the matrix. Galvatron refuses to believe in the power of the matrix and fires at Hot Rod. The Matrix draws the fire and deflects it away, protecting Hot Rod for a greater battle. He hears the voice of Optimus Prime. Rise, Rodimus Prime, keeper of the Matrix, defender of Cybertron. Empowered with the strength of his ancestors, Hot Rod, now Rodimus Prime, destroys Galvatron forever. As for Unicron, this is the Autobots' darkest hour. Rodimus Prime calls on the power of the Matrix. And for him, it responds. He grows in size and strength, the Autobot to rise out of their ranks. All through Unicron, the Matrix's force tears from robotic station to station, ripping him apart. Diodes pop, connectors snap, sockets swell and explode. His energy tanks collapse. The Matrix seeks out and destroys evil. Since Unicron is pure evil, his whole being begins to betray him. As he tries to fight the light inside him, he can no longer attack Cybertron or the Autobots. A new leader, Rodimus Prime, races to find his people, to gather them together, and to save them from the destruction of Unicron. He transforms and leads them away. Blasting through Unicron's optics, the Autobots make what should be their final escape, leaving Unicron to battle his erupting body in a desperate fight for the survival of evil. But it is a battle he is destined to lose, as he explodes into a million shining fragments which are dispersed into the blackness of space. At home on Cybertron, the Autobot Matrix is in their possession. The Autobots' new leader speaks. Let this mark the end of the Cybertronian Wars. Let us move forward to a new age of peace. Let us rebuild our home and live in happiness until all are one. So as you can see, this book was obviously published prior to the actual outcome of the movie. Apparently some things weren't clear. We know Galvatron survives. We know that Unicron's head survives. So we see a few of the details have been changed. But all in all, you watch the movie, you're going to get the same general experience. I know I didn't show, but I got a little choked up when a hot rod threw Galvatron and grabbed the Matrix. Even when I watch the movie, I get that same experience, that same feeling. It's a 35-year-old book. It did pretty well. And let me show you what the cover looks like in color. So this is what the book looks like in color. That is the story of the Transformers movie from 1986. And my opinion is, it is probably one of my favorite movies. I mean, there's Back to the Future, there's Ghostbusters, there's Transformers the movie. Essential 80s movies. And annually, I'll watch the movie. Every year, I just watched it again recently. I love this story. There's a time jump, of course, because it takes place between the second season and the third season of the television show. So you see some familiar characters, and then they show you new characters, and you're like, what? But definitely, if you're a Transformers fan, you need to check out the movie, read the comic books, because it's just some good stories.
Tell me in the comments your thoughts on this video. Did you like what you saw, and how was your experience with it? Thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.